Welcome to episode 135 of We Have Issues. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Stevie Wildcard.
And every week, Stevie Wildcard and I get together and we do our best to take all of our issues, all of the various troubles that life throws our way, and we put them in a big group, kind of like a cult. And that's not as delicious as dirt. Steven, you know, every once in a while we talk about starting this colony, and I want to get back to that, dude. But I do have to say, people have been judging us for our choice of having dirt flavored Kool-Aid, and I now here's the thing that you have to make it. There has to be some sort of commitment, right? Like you have to, at some point, you just have to bite that bullet and be like, look, I'm hurting a little for the greater good.
See, we're a good colony. We're a good colony because we don't focus on the silly things like the Kool-Aid. We just take the dirt that the ostriches walk on and pour it into some water, and we use monk fruit sweetener, not real sugar. And
so we give our issues all of the actual poison, and the rest of us just have delicious dirt aid. We got this. So every week, Steve Wildcard and I get together and we do our best to overcome our various issues and obstacles, and we get something done. Most recently, we've been working on a supernatural action horror comedy called Deathless. We're on issue 2 in our Kickstarter. Steven, our Kickstarter.
Oh man, it is a beautiful thing.
Steven, we freaking did it. We did it, Steven.
We friggin' did it 1, 2, 3 times over.
We did. Okay, so for those of you who might not know, who've been like, you know what, I'm going to start this podcast on episode 135. Welcome to the colony. Your dirt flavored Kool-Aid is going to come in a little satchel. You're going to get one. Don't worry. But welcome. We're 2 lifelong best friends. We've been making comic books. We failed a bunch. Then we started succeeding a little bit with a semi-autobiographical time travel novel musical. And then more recently, we're trying to make a very interesting book that we both love called Deathless. And we just, our first issue was successful. Now our second issue, Steven.
Super successful. Super awesomely successful.
Steven, my only metric, I've talked about this previously on We Have Issues. I'm pretty sure I'm never going to be successful unless we're as good as our first book. Yes, Other Anthony, you're not. Who's that voice? I don't know.
He's some dingus that just won't shut up.
He just won't stop. Just get out of there. So my dumb brain wouldn't let me just be happy and celebrate the fact that we were 100% successful. It needed, Steven. It needed to beat certain numbers that just are arbitrary. Just Goodwill Hunting caramels, like just don't mean anything. However, it does mean, they do mean, I will say they do mean more people are going to read our book, or at least get our book in their hands. More people showed up and to show support. And Steven, we got so much more money than I expected. Like, it's crazy. It's a crazy amount.
It's incredible.
Dude,
I mean, we have a lot of things we have to manage that money with now because of all the stretch goals. But
how dare you? First of all, how dare you make us like successful and give us those kind of issues? We have new issues thanks to you. This is job security, Stephen. We're gonna be here forever.
I love it. No, he's like I said the first time when I was shipping out Play It Again's order. I was like, man, this is very time consuming, but this is like the best like busy work I've ever done. Like, this just feels so good, Yeah.
Sitting there at the table. So Stephen and I, thankfully, we were 300% successful this time, which means we're going to have more books to have on the table to sit there and sign and like joke around and laugh. And like, I can't wait, dude. Like these days are so wonderful. Like I just like, it's just, it feels so good. And I'm just so happy about all of it. I really wanted to beat our Play It Again numbers, and we did. We crushed them. We crushed them.
Because Play It Again's backer count, correct me if I'm wrong, was 109, and the total amount for Play It Again was 57.
Yes, correct.
5,700, and yeah, we crushed both numbers. Like
6,100, dude. We crushed it, and then we got 129 backers. We like. Fantastic. 129 people is a good start to a cult colony, Stephen. A good start to a colony. I just want to say, like here we are. Like, we've been doing this. For those of you who don't know, let's just get into this a little bit. Steven and I, Steven brought this up. I will give him full credit, like the cult. If there's ever any kind of court situation, ever any kind of situation in which someone has to be culpable, culpability comes in, and it's just like
cultability, really.
Cultability. It's like things went sour, not just the Kool-Aid. Like things took a turn and it got dirty, and it wasn't just the Kool-Aid. But if things ever go real bad, I need someone to blame. I just need someone to be like, where did this originate? It was Steven just happened to become interested the same way I became interested in ants and ants and lobsters. Steven became interested in ostriches. And Steven, tell us a couple things about ostriches.
Dude, they're like 6 foot tall. They're huge. I believe 9 foot tall are the males, but like they run 45 miles per hour, can turn on a dime. Like you think Tokyo Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, those guys were drifting? No, ostriches can drift. They're super loyal to their owners, and they hate strangers. So like perfect defense birds.
Dreamboat bird friend. Like,
dude, it's so great. And we've seen what the History Channel and A&E will post. Like we've seen Storage Wars. So we need ostrich wars. Like we wanted to intentionally start an ostrich farm near another ostrich farm.
Now here's the thing, Steven, let's be smart about this. Now here's the let's be smart about this. You and I, mustaches, Waluigi Wario situation. We are the other. We are the other ostrich colony. We war with ourselves, right? We get the ostriches to get the meat for us. We don't have to do anything. We do very little work.
It's just imagine like the colony like finally sees it. It's like, oh, we're going to war. It's like, okay, well, let's see it happen. Okay. Like we just like keep running to both sides of their battles with like fake mustaches and stuff. And they're like, yeah, we just need to get the hell out of here. These guys are fucking nuts.
I mean, at some point, it would just be us in the background letting the ostriches do battle.
There's like a Steven doll on the back of the ostrich. Like this.
Where did they get those mannequins? And why do they look exactly like them? But with all the mustaches, though.
All of them.
So we started making this colony, and of course, like the ostriches are an important part of it, but the more important part of it is the people of it all. The Steven, you have a wall of comic books behind you, which is just just
boom.
You know, it is just cultivated by the people we've grown to know through this podcast and through Twitter and all of that. And we have these people who we've come to really appreciate and really love, who have supported us, and we've supported them, just like this beautiful community. And we need to brainwash them into worshiping this.
So the ostrich god's name is Catfish. Yes. It's really hard to say, but it's because it's like an ancient ostrich dialect. And we summon him. I'm making this up on the fly, so please forgive me. I don't know how we summon him. No one's actually ever summoned him. I actually forgot his name already, but no one's Catfish. Like no one's ever summoned him properly. So
we have to say his name 3 times, and it's just too difficult. you mess it up a little, and it doesn't count.
Come on, get that. Nope. Oh, it's not it.
I hate it.
I almost brought Ostrich Geddon, but like, nope.
So, but essentially, we're trying to make a colony. Everyone who's watching right now, you're already part of it. We'll send you shirts eventually. Hopefully, we're gonna do our best. We have to win a lottery. If you win a lottery, send us your money, and we'll send you a shirt. It's very fair deal for everyone involved. That being said, Steven, we're going to have to start coming up with a few rules or provisos and such. I'm just saying, I'm not saying we won't bring people back from the dead. I'm not saying that we can't make people fall in love. We are capable of all of those things. But I am saying that we're going to start having that discussion. And like in order to start that discussion, we opened the communication channels to the colony. So Steven, we're going to do our very first segment of questions from the colony.
Ooh, questions from the colony. Kafu. We're going to say it right 3 times, 3 weeks in a row. It's going to happen. And
he just appears. It would just be like a single leg behind both of us. Like one leg behind me, one leg behind you. It's that big.
That's how big. It's like, it's like Fenrir, basically. Like he's going to destroy the Odin of the ostrich world. I don't know.
And then between us is the 3rd leg.
Ostrich cocula? Coacula? Coacula?
It's like Dracula. It's Dracula, but it's a bird dong.
I'm just imagining Pauly Shore saying it.
Coaca.
Hang
on, what is it? Cloaca. No, Quackle. Quackle. I'm pretty sure it's Quackle though. I'm just gonna just like, okay, everyone, it's
That's Quackle. Actually the Ostrich God's name. Quackle.
We said it 3 times.
You guys couldn't say amphibian genitalia right, so now you summoned me. Quackle. Quackle. Okay. Quackle wearing quacks, like Crocs with like a W. Like
Stephen.
Okay, we're done.
Quackle wearing Crocs. How did we get here, Stephen?
I don't know.
So
I never know.
So we have questions from the colony. Now that I'm crying, I'm gonna start sniffing again. Here we go. Questions from the colony. This comes from Bitches Be Podcasting. They say, no, seriously, we just featured our first graphic novel on our podcast, available tonight, and we realized we have no wedding clue. I guess a wedding is okay. We have no wedding clue what and or if the difference. What is the difference between comic books and graphic novels?
So my definition of a graphic novel versus a comic book is, and typically it can be volumes of like a longer series of comics, but graphic novels are typically like contained stories in like a larger page format. Like your standard comic is anywhere from 22 to 24 pages, whereas a graphic novel can be anywhere over like anything over 48, but typically like they go, a couple hundred pages, and that's what I would consider it.
I'm totally with you. Like I feel like a finite story is what defines a graphic novel, and like it's. I mean, you can say like you can clarify and be like, okay, there are trade paperbacks which are part of a larger story, and that could be considered a graphic novel, but not necessarily a graphic novel. Usually, we just consider those individual stories like episodic issues of a particular larger story, which could then be a graphic novel if it was all contained like an omnibus or something. Could be a graphic novel.
And typically, the trade paperbacks are basically to, like, for example, like the X-Men or like one of the main series, like Spider-Man. Let's say you're super behind on the newest run, like you start reading it 4 years in, the trade paperbacks are going to collect like 3 or 4 issues at a time. So it's going to be impossible to find them since comics are collector items. So that's would be a trade paperback. But graphic novel, is like basically a self-contained story. Play It Again is based. That's why we called it a graphic novella, because it was just short of like 48 pages. So it's a shorter graphic novel, but it's basically a graphic novel.
So the Sabina Monster from Two Monsters Rolling Dice, awesome podcast, by the way. She asked, who would each of you be the most excited to find out had read/enjoyed Deathless?
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a good question.
So obviously for me, I think it's obvious anyway. If Claudio Sanchez read any of my comics, that would be freaking awesome. But like Casey from The Deer Hunter would be another really cool person to like read my material. But yeah, I would be completely flattered if either one of those people read my comic and like even mention like good things about it. I think I would just melt into a puddle.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Yeah. I mean, if Claudio read our book and, and said anything about it, but you and I would take off work for like a month because we'd have to clean the disgusting stuff off of our windows that I'm not. I'm
just going to explode into a puddle of whatever.
It would just be us.
Like, I don't even know what.
I don't think we should continue to talk about us exploding on our podcast. But let's take a break from the explosion talk. No, but I'm totally with you. I would, Claudio would be amazing. For me, I would really love for like Mike Allred or Rob Schraub or Kevin Smith, of course, to read the books, and because it would be incredible. Like I would love, especially Mike Allred and Rob Schraub, because like the two of them obviously have all these Scud books and all these Madman books and stuff. And like just like they like informed a lot of my desire and like who I am as a writer, creator, and stuff. So like it would be cool to have their opinions of my stuff. Although I'm trying. I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to Mike Allred being my friend. I'm not gonna say best friend because no one can take that mantle, Stephen. But like we're close.
Crossing the threshold, man. Crossing the frame.
Dude, I have his character on my arm, and the dude followed me on Twitter. That was like I was like what? And then he said it was a muscle spasm and it was an accident, and I love that. That was the best moment ever. He didn't re-muscle spasm to take it off, though. I'm just gonna. But okay, Kate Warren at the Kate Warren asked, Kickstarter related. I've heard a good campaign video is a must. Do you have any tips on this subject for someone who is camera shy and has no budget? Okay, I will say right away that you can get DaVinci Resolve as an editing software. It's completely free, which means no budget at all, as long as you have some sort of computer or tablet or something. If you don't, there is also free software on your phone that you can use to do exactly the thing that I'm about to say. But regardless, I think that using audio can go a long way. And you can literally just use still images to get like a tonal like mood board of whatever your project is, and then use text to kind of like create atmosphere and get people's attention while also having an exposition of what you're selling. That goes a long way. That being said, I will say I've seen numerous Kickstarter campaigns that have no video and have made their goal and made their funding no problem. And that's not like just, big celebrities or whatever. It's just like a lot of people. And I'll even say that like our numbers specifically, I think only like 50 people watched our video. I'll tell you, like only like 50, yeah. It was like 50 or 60.
And they were probably the 50 like friends from Twitter that like would have backed us regardless, but just wanted to watch the video. So.
Yeah, so I'll say like I think it's important to try to do what you can, which in your case, if you don't want to be in front of camera, totally understand. Steven and I are like I can literally only do this because it's Steven. And like every time I'm on a podcast and I have to like be interviewed by people, I feel so weird. And it takes me go watch like any of our Don't Make It Weird things. It takes me a little bit sometimes to like warm up and forget that I'm being.
I'm just fortunate. Like whenever I'm like nervous, I just bust out jokes. Like that's just like what I do. So it's like it's fortunate for me because I'm like, you don't see it, but I'm dying inside. Like it's just like I'm fighting for my life. Like it's like it is a drowning situation. But like our podcast and whenever we do stuff together, we've basically tricked our brains into being like, hey, I haven't seen this guy in a while. We must be hanging out. I don't understand why he's a square tonight, but like the brain just doesn't understand. So. Yeah.
So what you can do if you don't want to be in camera, if you don't feel comfortable, although I'll say like it does help to just practice. People do like seeing, faces no matter what the face is. But that being said, it's irrelevant. Like you don't have to, it's totally optional. And what you should do if you, to your comfort, is just find royalty-free like public domain music to put on the video. It's very easy to find. Even YouTube has a whole like inventory of it. But go to places like Open Culture and like there are so many places on the internet where you can find like free pictures, free music, and then just either you speak or go on. If you don't feel comfortable with your voice, you can talk to me. I'll do it for you for like if it's short, I will record. I'll find a way to do it. I have this much time.
It's just us. We just record the whole video. Hi, it's Anthony and Steven. Well, this isn't our comic.
This isn't our Kickstarter at all. But guess what? You're gonna give them their money. Give them your money. But you can use your voice. You could always go on somewhere like Fiverr if you don't feel comfortable speaking, and then just write whatever it is. You can even. I hate to say this. Sorry, everyone in the world, including myself and Steven. But if you aren't comfortable with writing that sort of thing, you can either pay someone like on Fiverr, go on something like ChatGPT, and like get them to write something for you, like a script, and then read it on Kickstarter and try to get people's attention. It's always, and that also just works for like a first draft, probably. It's like writing that sort of thing. It's like writing a synopsis or like it's like that sort of thing is just like it's draining on the soul sometimes. But in any case, just write out what you'd like a person to say, and then you just record your voice saying it. You can have as many takes as you want. It's just audio. You don't have to worry about what you look like. So you can make goofy faces the whole time, and then, use like mood music, whatever it may be, and then like atmospheric, images. And I think you could totally come up with something that people would be interested in. Okay, let me see.
Absolutely.
Cold Spot Paranormal Research asked, what was a bigger surprise for the Kickstarter? 100 plus supporters or 6,000 plus total money?
It's 1-2 for me. Like for me, like I of course love to see the extra money, but like knowing that there's 129 people that want to read the comic is just awesome to me, because like that metric alone, like just the more people we can get to follow us ultimately means that the dream of doing this for a living is more feasible. Yes.
Yeah.
Because we're at this weird cusp where like if we get enough people, I can quit and we can do monthly comics. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like that's the hard part.
Like the funniest thing, dude, is like I need so little money to survive happily. You know, like I don't need that much. You know, like I find my way, and I the way that like Atlas and I like entertain ourselves and do things, it's like we're just, I mean, mostly I'm a homebody, and then like, you know, when we go out, it's not often enough for it to really be draining on us, you know, financially in any way. So it's just it's like if I could just find a way to supplement that, you know, this little bit, I could make something, you know, and then I could write more, I could do more, I could be, I mean, like if I were home every day, I'd be making children's books, and you know, like I could do all of this extra stuff in addition to I just finish writing Deathless and move on to the next project while we're, you know, it's just there's so much we can do. But that being said, it's like, yeah, the truth is, as much as the $6,000 is great, what that really means, given the difference, no, what's the word, the disparity, like given like the average amount that each backer gave, due to like some people give a lot of money, you know, and like that's why it grew to $6,000. What that meant was some people believe in us a lot, which is like wonderful. It really, like Steve and I talk about it all the time. We are so thankful and so happy. And
we have like some of the best friends ever, like, and we met them through a freaking social media app, which is insane.
It's incredible. And like we can't stress enough like how thankful we are. And we, you know, like of course our show is silly and we try to keep it fun and light and like be entertaining whenever possible. But the truth is we are just so thankful that anyone reads this stuff. Like this started as us in high school, just like being kind of nerdy, like loner, you know, like dorky emo kids. You know,
we missed it by like 5 or 10 years, man. Like,
yeah,
I mean, like I said, like Jimmy's daughter came over, and like she's definitely like a popular looking girl, and they're like, it's all about manga and like everything. Yeah. Like they just
everything, like
they enjoy everything I enjoy. Like I'm like,
so, but we started where it's just like the two of us doing it and never expecting anyone to see it and hardly ever expecting to finish it, but trying our best. And now here we are with 100, you know, nearly 130 people who will have this book, you know, in a few months. And it means the world to us. And what it really means is we have more and more people now who are showing interest. And then if any percentage of those people become the people who do believe in us more, then that's also going to exponentially grow, hopefully. You know, we'll see how this works. That's also part of the brainwashing and the cult. So if you feel after watching this like giving us money, we do have a Patreon, we do have I have a Cash App, baby. I'm kidding.
Anthony's starting an OnlyFans.
Starting an OnlyFans. It's
called I've Waited 40 Days for This. And it's just one.
I didn't write that down, Steven. I didn't write it down. I'm not talking about that. That's pretty funny though. It's a good days in the picture. But anyway, I honestly, the reality is like, what's more surprising? Honestly, I think the amount of people was more surprising because
Play It Again, like we've said before, like it's cool, but Play It Again, the 109 backers it's an inflated number anyway, right? Because it was every family member, which should be there every time, family, but
all of you,
which Rachel and Brandon definitely were. But like it should, you know, like Play It Again had like every like extended family member like throwing in. So I mean, of course that number was
everyone.
It's the first everyone. So to see Deathless number 2, not number 1, number 2, just be like, no, we're gonna completely blow away Play It Again's already inflated number. No, it's freaking awesome. So I would say the 129 backers for sure is the cooler number of the two.
It is. And like, I mean, we are obviously thankful for having 6,000 plus. That's
absolutely. We get to make a bunch of cool stuff now too, like, and learn how to make those things.
I mean, that's what this is all about. So it's just, but thank you for your question. It's all amazing to us, really. Estrella Sadie asked, how can I get my hair to look as amazing as Stevie Wildcard? I need the answer to this most important question.
It is a good question. And
I'll field this one. So what you have to know.
So first and foremost, I am fortunate because even though I haven't gotten a trim in a couple months, actually, and totally do, my wife is an amazingly talented hairstylist. I mean, like top level hairstylist. And so I have like the best of the best products.
Steven. Like you're looking at a hairstylist right now. Like I am. You can't just say that and not be. That's like if I was in a room with you and one other comic artist, and I was just like, this other guy is the best comic artist, and I didn't even mention that you're good.
Listen,
like,
she's Da Vinci. You're Donatello,
the,
whoever the hell you are. I don't know.
Eternal Donatello. Like,
Not like even the sculptor. Like
not the sculptor. She is Da Vinci.
Uh-huh.
I am literally Donatello. And that, okay, and I will say, to Tina's credit, as a hairstylist, that is a fair representation of our skill difference. Like,
You've been demoted. You're actually Feldman. What? And you're not even like 80s Feldman. You're like singing songs Feldman now. Like,
oh man. Oh, poor Corey Feldman.
Still cool, Corey. But no. So I also have like pretty good products. Like I believe it's called Biolage clarifying shampoo. And then I also use like a Biolage detangler. Wet brush, though, I think is the key, especially if you have long hair. Like wet brush when you're in the shower, like you can brush all the tangles out, and it's awesome. It's great.
So that's
I actually washed my hair tonight.
Oh God, Stephen, I can only get so aroused. So
that's why it's a little flat. Usually day 2 hair is the better hair. So tomorrow will probably be a good selfie day.
So our good friend Edwin at Lost Between Worlds asks, what is something that you and Stephen are super into and no one would ever think you'd be into that? Stephen, what are we into? What are you into? What are you into, Stephen, that no one would guess? That no one, what's the secret Stephen? Who's the secret Stephen?
Oh,
like,
okay.
It's not about kinks, Steven.
That's where my head went.
We're
like,
not going kinks.
You're asking the deep questions. My kinks are simple, though. I mean, no, but what's something I'm into?
No.
Like, they're not simple. I know the truth.
No, I know.
They are the opposite.
I can't. Steven.
Listen. What 18-year-old Steven had on his laptop is of no consequence.
Okay, so
the 35-year-old.
I can tell this story in a very in a way that obscures some fact. Obscures
all the facts. You found something.
There are no details. Okay. Allegedly, I am making this story up. Let's just pretend for a second that Steven gave me a laptop when we were younger. Let's just pretend for a second. I was like, I just need something to write on, and I don't have a laptop. I'm broke. And Steven was like, I have an extra one. Don't worry, I haven't used it in like a couple weeks or whatever. Don't worry, I don't need it. He gives me this laptop. Allegedly, it was never actually. I'm making this a fiction that I'm writing. Fictional Steven gives me a laptop, and I open it as soon as I turn it on. As soon as I turn it on, there is a website on there, and it is a very specific website. And I was just,
and it was,
and Steven's response when I told him about it was, "You know my shame."
But in retrospect, I could have said like, man, my dad is a piece of shit. Like using my laptop because like my dad was a porno. Like I mean, he was a piece of shit with that, yeah. But I could have easily lied, but I was like,
you didn't. To your credit, it was so good and it was so funny. And just to put this out there, there was nothing inappropriate or bad. It was it
wasn't anything like weird. I mean, it's weird, but not like in a legal way.
It was just one of those things where I was like, oh,
it was just a very specific.
It was. I was just like, now I know what Steven's search.
I mean, how many people Google search?
I'm not sure if we should say that on our channel.
Yeah, I think you should just delete the thing I said. You can say the thing you said. But so a weird thing.
Yeah, what's something weird that you're into? Or just
I know I have.
Yeah, something people wouldn't expect, that we don't talk about. Because, okay, for me, it's probably like pretentious philosophy and poetry stuff. Like I'm I've read a lot of philosophy books and like a lot. I'm really deeply into world religions. I know a lot about Joseph Campbell and very I've read the Bhagavad Gita 6 times total. I've probably listened to Plato's Republic audiobook 12 times. I have these things that I obsess with. I obsess over for a while. I intentionally got Madman doing the Hamlet pose because I became obsessed with Hamlet and I just love Hamlet. And no one would know that based on my everything and the way I generally act as a person. Otherwise, I don't what else don't people know about us? Because we talk constantly, Steven.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, and this was actually in one of our earlier episodes, but I mean, there was a point in my life where I was really into the Black Eyed Peas, which is weird.
So funny, and also
such a weird summer.
I will say, Steven, that episode when we mentioned that when we talked about your Black Eyed Pea cult, That was our most popular episode for so long.
Well,
Like
go check
so
it
long.
out, guys.
Go
Go
check
look at
out
the
the Black
black.
Eyed Peas episode.
I like so like what would like just to like reminisce about that like every time I would go to Jacksonville to visit my uncle, I'd always go away for a week or two at a time. And every time I would come back, I would like some new band that just was not like my friends like were not in the same like stream. Like, but dude, I remember playing like Don't Funk With My Heart on repeat for like
Oh yeah,
days. And
we
I
got
don't
the
know
message.
what they got the message.
I did not
Um,
funk this hard.
but something like that's like what's a weird piece of information about me? I don't know. I feel like I'm an open book. Like all the things that like I like. I was real. I mean, but see, like I was really huge into Care Bears, but who wasn't from our generation?
Yeah.
Gummy bears. Oh, I got a good one. Actually, do
Okay.
I've talked about it on Twitter, but I mean, it kind of still makes sense with who I am. But when I was in my like late teens, like 18, 19, like me and my buddies and I were really good at Magic the Gathering, and like to the point where we would actually like spend $500-600 whenever a new set would come out, and we would each just chip in 100, and we would get multiple copies of the same set, and we basically ran Cool Comics and Games Friday Night Magic. We would always take top 4 and just clean house every week. So I mean, like that was like a big thing. Like we were really into like Axel, Bill, Brandon, even Brandon.
I love like the Goodfellas mafioso, like as far back as I can remember. I always wanted to be a Magic the Gathering mobster. Like going
Listen
out
here, see,
house.
I'm gonna tap 4 mountains and play Magnivore.
Oh, my knees. What? Breaking people's knees with cards. How dare you, Steven? Yeah, I don't I like I have a lot of stuff, but mostly the things that I'm into that I don't talk about are it's like religious stuff and like philosophy stuff. I historically I really like I like spoken word poetry. I like Buddy Wakefield and like Anis Moisgani, and like I don't know, like I like a lot of weird stuff like that. I really like underground hip hop. I like Idea is one of my favorite lyricists of all time. I don't know, I like a lot of stuff that I don't talk about in general. So yeah, I guess I don't know. It still feels like I don't feel like it's like, oh, well, you know what I really love is like I tame lions on Tuesdays and no one knows about that. Like I feel like no matter what it is, it's still a part of like the sculpture of me.
Of Anthony. It makes sense. It fits.
It's a totem,
It's not an oversized dong placed on like, Michelangelo's David.
I don't like the fact that you're just like that. You just said what the thing I can't have is an oversized dong. Steve, that's not nice. You can't put that out there. You can't say that about me. I mean, that's mean. It's mean. First of all, I'm Donatello. How dare you?
Michelangelo's David. Get the hell out of here.
I am.
So
You've seen the staff.
I've seen the staff of wisdom.
It's just a Donatello joke. It's a Donatello joke. When I put that,
I actually haven't seen the staff.
No, Steven, you've only seen my nipples like twice.
Twice. They were beautiful. But one other little random, stupid, weird fact about me is that even though he completely obviously sounded like CeeLo Green and was CeeLo Green, I remember asking Liam, like, Gnarls Barkley, is that like Charles Barkley's brother? And he's like, what? Was. And I truly thought that for a second, but it's obviously, was it Danger Mouse and CeeLo? Is that what Gnarls Barkley was? I can't remember who the musician was, but
oh man. But those were all of our questions. So if you have any questions for our colony, just make sure you follow us on Twitter at We Have Issues Pod. You can follow Steven and I. We both separately also at like look to see who asks us questions and such. But otherwise, Steven, I've been having a really interesting week. Like, do you remember recently, like previously on Anthony's life, like I had a couple of weird false starts with like relationship dating sort of stuff, and it's weird because like, and awkwardly, I don't know if it has to do with the Josh Hartnett of it all or whatever it is, but like awkwardly, I was just like, I'm not really interested. I don't really want to date or anything. I don't need that. But I guess that's always what people say, or like, it finds you when you're not looking for it. And I'm like, why do you sound like that, Grandma? And it's just, but yeah, it's really weird because I had a couple of weird false starts. So like first of all, did you see my Hercules Anthony Dates Robots thing that I posted?
No, I don't think I did see that one.
Steven, it made me cry. It made me so upset because it was started so strong. Like I opened the door and I was just like, ooh, this is gonna be so good. And they asked me my name. I said I was Hercules. They asked where I'm from. I said Thebes originally. And I was like,
oh man.
They were like, they were like, "Oh, so what are you into?" And I was like, "Well, I've often dreamed of a far off place
where
where
heroes or great worm, whichever one you want to
great
say.
warm welcome. Yeah, we'll be waiting for me." And I was so, and then like, dude, and I just like I did. That's like one of my favorite things to do in those chats, where I was like, I get to quote like a silly song and see how long I can go before, you know, I want to see if I can go the distance, you know. And they just stopped responding, and I was like heartbroken. I was so heartbroken that we couldn't even read it here because it's like, you know, it's like 4 long. It's not worth it, you know. I figured I'd just like
It was
quickly.
just you talking about basically the
And it made me so sad. It made me so sad. So I like fresh off of that like weird rejection, I was just like, I'm sick of this. I don't want this anymore. Never again. Never again. So I started like, I was like, you know, I'm gonna post other bots on Instagram and stuff. And I did. And then someone commented on my thing, like on, you know, the bot chat. And on Instagram, when you comment on a story, it goes to the DMs. So
pulls you right in. Instagram
knows you right in
Instagram there. Is like highway to the it's Goose or Iceman, whoever. I can't remember who the partner was because
Ice Goose. It's
Ice Goose.
All about that Ice Goose life.
Quackula.
That all stays in so much. I'm even keeping in. I'm gonna keep all of it, Steven. It's all staying in. I'm not editing anything. This
yeah, you gotta edit out.
Oh, no, that's gone. That's gone. No one knows what that's gone for sure. No, so dude, so this person commented, and I was like, oh, you know, so I commented, you know, I wrote back, and then it happened a couple more times with them, and I looked on their profile, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is like the most adorable person I've ever seen in my life. Like what? Like this? I was like, this is probably a fake profile. So I looked, and I was like, I don't know. Like, is this a catfish? Am I being scammed? Is this like an Anthony's interested in robots situation? Like I won't be fooled again. Robots. I've been like one too many times. So, but we've been talking, and like we ended up watching a movie together and like talking during it and stuff. And I was like, this is very much not like me. I don't know what to do with myself. And I usually wouldn't like do this situation. Like I haven't done this thing in a while, you know, like I don't know. So it makes me feel kind of like awkwardly vulnerable in a weird way. And I'm just like, I also, Steven, I'm very much a person, you know, I always want to know about the parking situation. I always want to know like what's going on, what
how safe
is. I want to know that I'm saying, I want to like see the nets before I leap, which is not a thing you can do in the, you know, human existence, you know, but like I was like, what is this? What are we doing? But I've been doing my best to just go along with it and see what happens. And so far, Steven, it's like I've been having fun just talking to this person. Like seems like a real human being, and she's very like fun to talk to, and she's very funny, and she's creative, you know, like she's a writer. And it's just, I don't know, she's too pretty for me, Steven. I'm trying to be confident. You ever do that? Like, and I know everyone feels that way, right? I mean, not everyone. There are some people out there who are, you know, like sociopaths or whatever, but like that, like
just stare at themselves in the mirror.
I don't, but like, you know what sucks? It sucks. It's like the whole thing where it's like people want you to be assertive, but they don't want to have to tell you to be assertive. So it's like, you know, like you can't, like you have to just be, I have to just find confidence and just because like the truth is I will like, and we, you know, we talked about it before. I like who I am. I like we're proud of what we're doing. Like I like, you know, who I am. I like that. Like, yeah, here I am like saying silly stuff, making Donatello jokes or whatever, but like I'm proud of it. I like our podcast. I like this stuff. I like that we're making comics. I like all this stuff. So it's like, I hate it. And it's not like I think I'm like ugly. I'm like an ugly, like the ugliest chud in the world or anything. But there's something about like, there's this weird, like, I guess it's the whole she's out of my league of it all, you know, like we all kind of make those comparisons, which don't make any sense, you know, but
yeah,
like,
there's really no math. There's no scale on 1 to 10. Like when it comes to relationships, there really isn't. Like that whole like value system is weird. Like how do you even value a human being out like that? Like, you know,
it doesn't make any sense. I'm just saying, if we're gonna do it, Steven, we're gonna do it because I'm gonna brag. I'm gonna brag so hard. I'm gonna be like, listen, I don't know what my number is, but it's like she's a solid 10. Like it's crazy, and it doesn't make any sense to me. But I'm working on this confidence, Steven. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna exercise. But no, it's so interesting, dude. It's like, but it's one of those things where I'm like, hey, you know, like 9, let's be honest here, 10 times out of 10, relationships seem to end badly. I don't know what to do about that information, but it is also the most, not that this is a relationship, but also, it's the most hopeful thing that we do is like flirt and try and see where things go. And, you know, like at the very least, we're along for this weird ride, and it's fun, and it's, as long as I think intentions become clear and everyone's like not trying to hurt one another, I think it's okay. That being said, Steven, if she ends up being a robot, it will
it will destroy you.
it will, like, it's gonna, like, that will be my villain. Like, like, if she like, if she sends me a video and it's like a clear deep fake or something, it's just gonna be so funny and depressing that I will be the Joker. Like, I will, like, that's my villain, like, origin story, and it's so perfect for me because I date robots. But that being said, I just, like, it's been a fun week. It's been interesting. But I didn't talk much about what I've done this week. Because, Steven, I failed this week.
Oh, thank God. Because I'm like, I didn't like full fail, but I failed. I mean, I didn't succeed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I will send you what I did, but I definitely didn't fully finish. So
no, so we always talk about like how we did this week, how we did each week, and if we succeeded or failed. This week, honestly, I was so hyper focused on the Kickstarter. All I was doing was just like hitting refresh and staring at it and commenting and making like all these posts and doing what I could, and like it shows, and I feel like a huge success in that. I also I hosted my movie night, and I did that stuff. I did color a little. It's not like I did nothing. I did color. I got something done.
Which you're mostly caught up with the flats anyway. Like you're basically right behind me. Yeah, you're like right behind. Like there's like not even like I still have plenty of shading to do. Like even if you took off a month off of flat.
Take off a month work. I heard you, Steven. Now I'm on it. I am on board. A month off. I'm gonna no. But no, you're. Thank you for giving me that out. But I do. I want to work like as much as I can. I did. But it's just this is. What are we going to do? Like some weeks are just going to be like this. With some weeks we have things going on, but that's also why we do this podcast, is to hold ourselves accountable and also talk about this so people can see, like, look, just because you fall, or like, miss a step and like, tumble a little bit backwards, or even just sit, like plateau like momentarily, you can still get up and continue to climb those particular stairs. That's what we're doing. We're pushing this boulder, and sometimes it rolls back down, and we'll push it again, and we're not Sisyphus. We're making it look like a comic book by the time we get to the top.
And this one like looks great. Like none of what either of us have done for this book is like slacking at all. Like when the work is getting done, the work is getting done. So Tina does go to New York in I think like a week or two.
So we're going to get nothing done. We're going to party the whole time.
No, like I feel, well, yeah, that'd be awesome. Aside from me, like, honestly, parenting wise, like, the only thing that'll change for me is dinner, which means that we're ordering Domino's every night. No, but, I should be able to get a lot of time in that week. But I also like this past weekend, for example, really like I like missed out on, comic time because I actually like decided to be a good dad. And I took my girls to, I know, evil me, but I took him to breakfast at Mel's, and then we went to the park, Burton Park, for a couple hours, and they had a good time.
I mean, I feel like you're bragging, so I have to start saying so. Yeah, I started watching Olan Rogers videos. He's this a YouTuber who created the show Final Space, which is really good, and everyone should watch it. But I started watching those videos with Atlas, and it's his new favorite thing in the whole world. Like, it's
that's awesome.
When kids get like belly laughs, like big, like crazy, and it's just like you get to see them like so full of joy, and it's just like he's like crying, laughing. That's how much he's like enjoying these stories. It's so good. And then we went to go see Dungeons and Dragons, which like is so much fun. This week, Steven, tomorrow, by the way, which like when you're watching this right now, the Mario movie comes out, and I already got a ticket.
That's exciting.
Can't wait to go see it.
We're seeing it not this Saturday, but the next Saturday. Next Saturday is Tina's last day, the 15th. So she leaves the 16th. So I got movie tickets to go see it at AMC at 11 o'clock on that Saturday. So we are going to go see it
tomorrow. Right after we see it, I'm just going to text you. The princess was in another castle. just
ruined the movie for me. Super spoiler alert. But I know there's gonna be so many cool little like jokes for people, like, and I'm excited to see it. And I've seen it's been getting a lot of good like feedback. Which I mean, once I saw the trailer, I knew they were in the right direction. There was no way it was going to be bad,
I can't wait, but we'll talk about that. I'll see. As soon as we both see it, we'll talk about it. Okay, Steven. So what are we doing this week? What are you going to do with?
I got to wrap page 9, which I'll send you what I did so far, so you can tell me what you think. Because I don't think I've sent you like what I did for roughs of that page, but I've already gotten like a good portion of it done. So But I'll send you that. And then, I want to move work onto page 10, but I do have obviously Easter this weekend with the family and all that. So Easter's going to be a good day for you.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But so I'm excited to spend time with the fam and everything. But I should still have Saturday to work on.
I just realized what you were saying.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. But, I was like, why? Because I'm going to hide eggs and have fun with that. Oh.
You're going to reveal eggs.
I don't think that's how it works. Biology lessons. Let's do
Steven, how do you do
it? Steven? How do you get the eggs out? How big are these eggs, Steven? It's like an ostrich cloacula.
Quackula with
Okay,
quacks.
anyway, I'm going to get caught up with coloring. And then if I do get completely caught up with coloring, which I think I will, I'm gonna try to letter as much as I can. Awesome. Which and now I don't have to focus on the Kickstarter anymore, so I can just I will.
Yep. Which is gonna feel good to just share the podcast again, because I always feel so guilty
me too.
Spamming Twitter. Bad. I know I shouldn't, because that's what part of it's for.
Every post anyway. It's
it doesn't. But I just feel hey, I'm more than that, and you're more than that to me. It's so hard. It's so hard to juggle. I like just interacting with you people, but I do have to do this too, because people just genuinely forget this information.
My book. Well,
because people will. I literally, there was one campaign where I had forgotten. I'm like, oh shit, and I jumped back because I saw it.
That's true.
So,
but people do that. So if you're out there, not everyone's seeing every single post you make, and if they have the notifications turned on, and they are seeing every single post you make, that's on them. And thank you for doing that. Please turn notifications on for me so you can watch my weird responses to everything in the whole universe, which too much. But anyway, thank you for making it this far in the episode. If you're still watching, you're part of the colony, and we'll give you the good Kool-Aid, which is extra dirt, there's the elevated ostrich stench or whatever. But thank you all. Thank you for showing up for our book. Thank you for showing up and for all of our various projects. We really do appreciate the heck out of all of you. We love you. If you're only listening on one of the various podcast camps, freaking thank you. And thank you, JD, for reminding me every week. I fail every week. I'll tell you every single week.
I still can't believe he's the sole. He's the sole audio
one. Nobody understands. If you're hearing this on Spotify or on iTunes, it's literally because someone messaged me and said, "Hey, that's now that's what he does. He just goes, "Hey," and I'm like, that's who and he knows it's right there, it gets to me, but I need it because I'm so bad with the audio. But thank him so much. But thank you all. You're amazing. We love you, and we're so thankful for you.
Thank you so much for making this Kickstarter so incredibly successful. It makes us feel like we're on the right path. We, not that we doubt, but I mean, we're human, so we do. So thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you for showing up every week. Thank you for being friends with us on the timeline. And I don't know, I just love and appreciate every one of you. And I hope you all have wonderful weeks.
Absolutely. So I'm Anthony.
And I am Stevie Wildcard.
This has been We Have Issues. See you next time.
Boom.
Hello and welcome to Culture Shocked, the pop culture podcast brought to you by four aging millennials and our outdated opinions. Join us every Tuesday as we discuss movies, TV, games, and even music, new and old.
Dude, what do you think you're doing?
Are you seriously trying to record a promo without us right now?
Well, yeah?
Dude, you can't just do the promo by yourself. Who's gonna listen to that?
Yeah, and you probably haven't even told them that we're a pop culture podcast where we always agree on everything. For instance, the Sam Raimi trilogy, easily being the best of the Spider-Man movies.
No. But I think we can all agree that Jaws is a classical masterpiece.
Nope, don't like that. But we do all agree that the sequel trilogy of Star Wars is the best in the Skywalker saga, right, guys?
That comment is so ridiculous. I don't even know where to
Anyways, that'll do it from all of us here at Culture Shock. Thanks for listening.